And we're back, and you are listening to Villaincast, BJJ Anti-Heroes, with myself, Chris the Villain Pains, and Naki El Jefe Arshed. And welcome to Reap the Week. Firstly, a thank you to our sponsors, the lovely patrons on Patreon. Thank you for believing in this work, and if you'd like to learn more about supporting this channel, along with receiving exclusive content, such as the new episodes of How to Defend Everything 3.0, along with personal coaching, you can find out more via chrispainsbjj.com. And dude, like now I can see myself on the camera. I look like I'm dying.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. I have to preface this podcast. I have a terrible cold. So I'm gonna sound pretty. I know I have the complaints that I breathe. It's gonna be worse today. And on camera there, I look like warm shit. You may have to carry this one, Knack. I'll keep moving myself away from the microphone. How have you been? I have purposely avoided coming to the gym and spreading my typhoid around you all.
No, I think it's the best thing to do nowadays because it gets easily mistaken for other things.
No, I think, and this is one of the weird things, like when the Rona came to get us, is that pretty much what jiu-jitsu people should have been doing anyway, we just did again. Like, as in what we do as a culture should be spread around society. If you're red or leaking, stay alone. Don't mingle with people. If there's an orifice you're leaking out of, or there's something red on you, don't train.
Yeah.
Like, quarantine yourself for a bit. And like that's pretty much the advice for COVID. Like, if you're red or leaking,
Don't go.
So, and I think I think it's one of those things that it should be like the common phrase. Maybe if we make a T-shirt, say, if you're red or leaking, stay at home, Villain BJJ.
We're gonna get downvoted again. Think about it.
Yeah, we were just saying that before we came live. Like last episode with the way the humour went late at night, it was our most disliked video we've ever done. So
It's late at night again today.
yeah, I know, right? Like before we came live, I had one of those Vicks vapor things jammed up my nose, so I sounded more human. Yeah, dude, it's rough. Anyway, so it has meant I've been out of it. There were Patreon videos I had to upload, and I've just been like, just head down, just right. But we're back, and hopefully by tomorrow I'll be alive, and we can train, and we can make some new videos. I've got some really nice things I want to go through. You've got your Instagram stuff now that you're starting to pester people with, and it's fantastic. One of the conversations I want to go about, though, is, so a friend of the channel, hello, Alex, Riley.
You just wanted to see my reaction, didn't you?
Yeah, I was like, when I said it, I was like, not that one. Hi, Alex. So he's now spread his wings, and he's going to be trying to do a ecological style jiu-jitsu club up in the north of the UK. I will be hopefully assisting with that. But it has raised the question though, because he's opening up in a new place. He doesn't really know anyone in the area. And that then, because we were talking about obviously doing the documentary of like beginner jiu-jitsu. But I guess he's now having to live it. I have asked this question to others since. What would you do if you had if you were to open, because I've considered it as well, like opening up another satellite gym in a town that has no jiu-jitsu. But how do you take a whole new bunch of people and teach them what we do and make them effective fast? What would you do? Like day one, welcome, this is new club, jiu-jitsu, BJJ, whatever. Welcome, we are all friends here now. This is jiu-jitsu. What do you do? How do you make that first session?
Well, it's the first conversation would be why are we doing what we are doing? What is the reason we're doing what we are doing? And then it'd be wrestling first, mate. Yeah, I'd have to teach him how to wrestle, and Just the basic concepts of covering the spaces, posture, stance, obviously balance, which we're doing a lot at the moment, and don't get taken down. And then obviously we'll progress from there.
But how do you make that on day one? Like what? So we walk in like actually, we'll sit there. You've got 8 boys and girls at your feet, and they're all really eager. They've come down. They want to start this jiu-jitsu. What do you do on day one? Like how do you progress? Like you were on the mats. What's the first thing that you do?
I want you to take each other down, and I want you to try best not to get taken down.
It's a really interesting question because, we did this when it came to the How to Learn Everything, How to Learn Jiu-Jitsu Fanatics release, the one we did in March, of like what's important. And I've pondered this. Like it has made me curious. Like, oh, how would you? Like if you're the sole jiu-jitsu person in the room and you've got a room full of beginners. I know we have fundamentals courses and people there's the usual like close guard.
Close guard. I was going to say close guard.
Yeah, close guard, rear naked choke, armbar kind of thing. But I'm like, we don't want to do this. So what would you do instead? And like my thoughts on it were to basically say, right, do the whole spiel of the we're here to get better as a team. Like your autonomy has been stripped from you. Welcome to communism. And
I'm
your
your master.
growth,
I'm your
your
master.
growth, your growth is dependent on the rest of us. So be nice. The goal is to make everyone better, not prove that you're better than your partner. Size and weight matter. And get that straight into there. But then literally just say to them, right, I want to hold that person down. Just hold each other down. Like basic, very nice sparring. Like keep very much control over it and say, right, don't get out of hand. Like don't touch the neck. Don't touch the face. Don't touch the genitals or twist up small.
The traditional rules.
Yeah, this literally, I want you to pretend you're 8 years old and you're at school and you're just trying to pin your friends down. That's it. I just want you to do that. And don't be person pinned down. Get up. And that'll give them, that initial framework of, oh, you want to be the then you go into, right, I want you to be the person on top. This is the most important thing you need to be and stay on top. And don't go to the ground. Don't fall onto your back. I'd start them from kneeling as well, because I think this is also an interesting thing that, we get accused of being wrestlers. We don't have a wrestling class or teach takedowns.
That's quite funny, actually.
It is. Like, we don't teach takedowns. I can't remember the last time I taught a double leg. Yet we're like, oh, you guys are wrestlers. Like, no. And I remember Preet saying this many years ago, of if you want to teach wrestling to, especially new people, don't start from standing. Because it's the intimidation factor, it's the poor landing factor, it's the impact factor. That's especially if you were someone who in the group have maybe done some rugby and everything, they don't have a real impact problem. But when people are just like get impacted the first time, it's uncomfortable. And it stays that way for a long time. I'd say one of the most important things about wrestling is confidence and tenacity. Like just a fuck about and find out mentality.
Yeah.
Most people don't have that. So I'd say that one of the first things then is to say, right, okay, don't disconnect. Try and hold the other person down. If they start to come up, drag them back down again. Because then you remove the impact problem. You staying connected and you are just dragging each other down. Give them that initial framework. I think you could just pretty much do that for day one and just out-cardio them more. And then from there, it'd be a case of teach them about high hips, teach them about the bottom leg, getting your bottom leg out, getting yourself square to the ground again so you can stand up. Like I said, covering the gaps and covering your bottom, your front leg with your hand like a down block, and just think, yeah. Don't let them control you. Oh, dude, I swear to God, he listens to this podcast. Wait there, I prepared this. I know we're going on a slight tangent already.
Damn it.
How did you know?
Because we've done cocked it many, many times.
He's done 2 posts recently. He was on about take your time when you have pressure positioning. Time becomes a weapon when your opponent is under duress. There are some situations where speed and quickness are a virtue, but when you have top pressure in your favour, deliberate slowing of the pace is what you want. So I was like, oh, that's an interesting one. Sounds very familiar. And then there's another one that came after it, and I was like, it was about hand fighting. I was like, for God's sake. But it's because you reminded me of it just. Yeah, when it's time to establish control of an opponent, the general pattern in jiu-jitsu is simple. Start at the extremities, hands and feet, then work up past the limbs to the hips and then the head. I give up. Dude.
The information's everywhere.
I'm getting good at muting this microphone when I don't feel well. Yeah, and I think you just have to do that. And then I think, again, one of those things that we had a visitor recently. Hello, you know who you are. And there have been other visitors, and we have been accused of having really good fundamentals. And I'm like, but what do you mean by fundamentals? Like, do you mean we've got really good close guards? We don't play that. Like, we have... If you're to teach your own fundamentals, would they be our fundamentals? But you're accusing us of having really good fundamentals. We're just staying upright. And then we get accused of being wrestlers. And I'm like, what in the name is happening? I think you could literally just do a beginner course like that. Just have a bunch of people just going, right, hold each other down. And I had a conversation with the black belt over in Poland about this, about the ecological approach. And I don't think you should put all your eggs in one basket. I know it's buzzwordy right now.
I agree on that. I agree, because you can't teach the same way and expect like everybody to learn the same. Everybody learns differently, and I think there's certain aspects that you have to teach. For example, submissions. You can't just... There's the finesse to teaching a submission, and there's certain things that you have to get right. You can't just say, like, for example, all right, two people keep each other down. You know what I mean? There's... You teach certain ways as they progress, but a submission is a more finesse way of, it's a finesse, it's a technique which you have to teach. It's a different way of teaching. So, like, you can't be, I think, 100% concept based, and I don't think you should be 100% technique based. I think there's always going to be an overlap, and you can't just be one track minded.
I think completely. Like, I've used the analogy many times of the bonsai tree, and depending on what you do on where you are on the bonsai tree, you use a different technique for cutting things down. Like how you treat a leaf isn't how you treat a branch, isn't how you treat the base of the tree. I think balance and posture and being upright is very much base of the tree. It's the most important part, and that requires very much a buzzsaw attitude of day in, day out grind. But cutting a leaf requires a lot of delicacy. It's a very different motion, and so I think that, completely. Like when we talk to look at the finer details of a submission, that's very top of the leaf kind of stuff. It's very specific, but that'd be very technique based, like really exploring it. But at the base of the tree of getting upright, that's very, very ecological. Like, just get the fuck up. I don't give a shit how you do it. And then guard retention, that's quite a bit further up the tree, and that's like, okay, I want you to block with your hands and feet. Just don't let them past your extremities, as Mr. Dan Aher says. I think you take that approach, but then you think, so what's the most important thing for then showing beginners on that kind of really basic course? Very ecological, and then when they have that solid base of the tree, as you climb and build up that tree, you eventually get to leaves, and that's where you start doing the finer detail stuff. Man, it's almost like I've planned this for the book.
It's just writing yourself, 100%.
It is. Just there's no point even buying it. If you listen to this podcast enough, you know everything. It's the bonsai tree of jiu-jitsu. I need to get that drawn. Who was I talking to about it? And this is like, so I think, again, like one of the things we were talking about when it comes to ecological approach stuff is like we've really had to remove the idea of game. I think that's unhealthy because it just resolves back into sparring again. Like, you can make constraint led, but in a game of power, there's always going to be a disparity, which favours someone else. And so I think there's a definite problem there when it comes to ecological style trade. I'm not saying it's bad, but I think that the power dynamic has to be addressed. Otherwise, one person's just going to fucking lose. And not learn.
It turns into competition then. If it's competition mode, then it's not really learning mode, is it?
No. Which is why I'm like I said, because I'm a nerd. If it hasn't become super apparent by the lucky cat mug and the collection of old retro games consoles behind my head, that I am a nerd. Like, this should be obvious by now. I guess anyone who's listened to us on Spotify wouldn't know this, but filthy nerd. And I think gaming is a fantastic window into understanding this, educating someone. Like, you know, I listen, because I do so much in the world of jiu-jitsu. I listen to a lot of gaming podcasts, like, and they fascinate me. Fucking love it. But it's like how some games will adjust their difficulty without you knowing. As in, say you're playing a game and you get dicked on, like hard. The game will adjust its difficulty for you. Like, you ever notice that if you're in a shooting game, enemies that you can't see don't shoot you?
Yeah.
Like, they won't just go behind you and just execute you. Like, they're like waiting there, like, he's going to turn around and get us eventually. And then you turn around and like, Well, it's like, there's another part as well, which I find fascinating. Like the last like 10% of your health bar is the equivalent of 50% of your health bar. As in, like, if you look at your health bar, you think, oh my god, I've only got 10 points out of 100 left.
Yeah.
Like, those 10 points will last as much as like half of the health bar. Actually, they stretch out. Yeah. Because the goal is to make you feel like a badass, like it's the fucking Alamo, and you're there like 10% left. There's enemies all around you, like, yeah, let's fucking go it. But actually, your health bar is like really long at this point, and so you're thinking there you're a badass, and it makes you better. And I love those ideas, and then carrying them into jiu-jitsu of ecological approach. Like, I said before, like, a game will give you a tutorial, they'll teach you how the buttons work, and then they'll introduce you to enemies, and you've got to figure out how you're going to defeat them. And you can either go down the very nice gaming route, where there's difficulty levels, or you can go down like a very Dark Souls, Soulsborne route, Elden Ring. Like, there's a video I watched of some dude getting dicked on like 2,500 times by one boss. And I'm like,
oh my God.
That is a learner mentality right there. And you could definitely do that. It depends what kind of partner you want to be in jiu-jitsu then. Are you a Soulsborne boss where, I'll fuck you until you learn, or I'll amend my difficulty to make you better? Yeah, but I can see, like, there's definitely a carryover there, and it has really informed my style, how I want to teach now. I think, we all need to learn. We all step out of our little jiu-jitsu box, because we're very isolated in this little box sometimes. Like, a learning style that's been around for years, and we're all like, oh, this is new and interesting. It's been around for years. Stop being stupid. It's like literally how you learn most things.
Yeah. Fuck about find out.
Yeah, exactly. And it would be interesting. Like, maybe we should start a new club. Is there a place that we haven't invaded yet? I've stopped just to ask you this. Like, should we invade? Not invade. I don't mean invade another gym, like kick another gym out. I mean, should we find a town and a night we have free? We don't have any of those, do we?
No.
Oh yeah, that's a fair point. Maybe we go a bit like Viking on this. We invade a place, take it over, and then stall a puppet regime of one of our blue belts.
Colonialism at its finest.
We're just like, this is your new leader now. Just like leave an army at the gates.
My phone didn't like that.
No, neither did I. Yeah, there's plenty of areas that jiu-jitsu hasn't
invaded.
we're missionaries.
Yeah,
we're
it's not
spreading the good word. Yeah, we're spreading the good word of jiu-jitsu, and we're missionaries on this journey.
Yeah, it is surprising how there's so many parts of the world still where jiu-jitsu is non-existent, man.
Even in the Staffordshire area that we're in, I'm sure there's loads of little towns that we could go and install puppet regimes and bring the good word. Like, we're just leaving our priests. We're going to go there and convert and leave our priests there. So,
Priests.
we have plenty of them. And it would be interesting, I think, because I definitely still want to do the documentary of, it's just find the time and space to do it. Maybe we do it in a different place. Maybe we walk into a whole place where no one knows us and we go, right, we're going to teach you guys jiu-jitsu.
Who could do that?
How do we do it? We should find the time and place.
Mm.
Maybe that's our next mission. Oh my God, dude, I'm burning up. This is a rough podcast.
Well, how long have we done now?
21 minutes. We're doing all right. Like, I've had to mute it a few times so I could cough.
No, you don't have to stay the full time that we usually do.
Oh, no. I love this podcast, dude. Like, it's 20 to midnight and I feel like warm turd. So I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Oh, my God. Yeah, so I think it'll be interesting to we'll say to everyone right now, Alex Riley over Wigan, he's ex-RGA at this point, give him a follow. I'll post him on the Villaincast Instagram, on the Chris Payne's Instagram, give him a follow. I think it's Black Dog Jiu-Jitsu, I think it is. Something, black dog. Yeah, give him a follow, go call in on him, I'll be up there. Dude, you should go up there as well.
Yeah, why not?
We should go up there. We should help. Well, I'm going to help, but you should help as well. And we'll send up our emissaries to do the same.
Yeah, we'll take the cavalry.
Yeah, exactly. We can help. We're going to... Not that it needs it. There's plenty of jiu-jitsu up north in England. We can help. That's actually an interesting thing as well, like another a talking point that leaves me curious. Is the north-south divide, or the city and outer divide, where it came to gi and no gi. Because that's the luta livre story, isn't it? Catch wrestling and how you had more middle-class kids doing jiu-jitsu in Brazil because they could afford the gis, and it was the more impoverished kids that did no gi and luta livre because they couldn't afford gis. And then that became the whole thing about leg locks. Like, that's definitely the way in the UK as well. Like, you definitely saw more no-gi in the north.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much now. Gis have become way more prevalent. But when I started, like, gis were not common. And it was more just, like, god damn. Like, I remember the first competitions that I went to was in, like, 2009. It was like an EDL rally. It was just white skinheads everywhere. You like that one, didn't you? You were like, shit, here we go again.
I nearly spat me drink out there.
Yeah, it was a good job you muted it. Like, you didn't realise where I was going. Dude, like, it was like
skinheads.
white skinheads everywhere.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, like, I remember the early rash, because when we had the conversation with Mikatsu, it was back in those days, there was no real rash guards out there. It was like, vitamins and minerals or whatever it was, and Bad Boy. Jesus Christ. Dude, I wish you were around in the early days when we had rash guards that melted. or like Yako shorts. They used a weird rubberized print on them. So you got one wash out of them, and then the print would melt off. Like, oh dude, it was fantastic days. I remember using the rash guard and it just melted. Like, all the patterning came off and just melted. Like, we didn't have any of the screen printing that we do now. But that was the story back in those days. Super long or super weird shorts, rash guards that melted if you washed them, and competitions that look like EDL rallies. Um, the old days of jiu-jitsu in the UK. It'd be interesting. I like to if anyone's from the early days, I'd like to hear their stories as well of like early jiu-jitsu, where you started.
You need to get like Langford on here. He's one of the like originals, isn't he? Like, he's been around a while.
Yeah, Steve Langford. He's he's how long has he been training now? He's been training longer than I have.
16, 17 years, something like that, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I know he was like teaching as a blue belt at Baja before I even started, which is insane. Dude. Yeah. That's the thing, like, I don't want to rag on the red shield too much.
Oh, he's the perfect person for that as well.
I'm not going to do it. Like, we're a friendly podcast. We're a family podcast. we're the kind of podcast you can put on with your kids in the car.
Yeah. Other than the last week's episode, exemption.
Dude, the last 4 months of episodes. Yes, I'm not gonna be mean. But it's definitely a club where you have to have a bit of money available to get their stuff. Like, what do you say to people when they contact you and say, "Oh, what should I come and wear in jiu-jitsu?"
Just nothing loose, if you've got try wear something that hasn't got any holes and no strings, and your usual combat or sportswear, like nothing. You just got to wear something that you can be comfortable in and to train with.
Exactly, make it accessible. I think because we're both from that kind of area of like, oh, you don't have to get a gi when you join. Like, no, dude, just come and wear.
Just come and train. Like,
I don't care. I think our backgrounds, where we're from, where we live, really inform that of being like, we're both relatively inner city, and we're both like, no, come on, we just want you on the mats. Don't be silly. I think we're northerners. we're northern folk. We just want to see mat folk. It would be interesting then to actually then take this idea and get just a bunch of people. It was almost like old days jiu-jitsu again. It's like come full circle. Like, we're just going to get a bunch of weirdos in a church hall, tell them to wear trackies and a t-shirt and slam each other for an hour. Jiu-jitsu in the north has now come full circle. The way it should be. Oh man. Although this has then so I know there's been a frustration with this style of people then asking, when do you bring back in submissions? And we're this far in right now.
Yeah.
We're what, 10 months of not doing any. And I want to start bringing them in. But then it becomes this really interesting thing. Like, now we know what we know about holding someone down and just getting the hell up and the difficulty of doing that. What submissions do you bring in? Like, what submissions do you chuck? What submissions do you throw away? And what submissions do you return? Because we had this question last week of like, well, this idea of, could you be a brown belt in jiu-jitsu that doesn't know most of the guards or submissions? Yeah, it'd still be an effective ass fighter, but not know. Because then it'd be weird. Like, dude, it's really weird. Like,
it is. But I guess if you're a brown belt and you can hold your own and you can win matches on points and shit, and I don't know, you can't be taken down. Like, if you're a brown belt standard, then you're a brown belt standard, aren't you? You can't really argue with that because there's styles on there.
This is the interesting point of, we have you have to know the technical aspects of jiu-jitsu, but do you? And so this is what makes everything really hard right now when it comes to promotions of, we have blue belts and white belts who are pretty goddamn stupid. They don't know many things. They're effective ass fighters. They don't know most guards. They don't know most submissions, but they are horrendous to roll with. But then would you hold them back because they don't know enough, but they're really effective? Like, what does jiu-jitsu mean? Do you promote on technical knowledge or do you promote on violence?
Interesting.
It is. It's really difficult because you're if they're really effective at violence, at what they do you have to give them oh no, but I know you can kill everyone, but now I need you to calm down and lie on your back for a bit and learn this. No. So that person over there smashed their head into the floor. Hilarious. Yeah, it's real conundrum. Because then, like, say you go through all these like submissions that we want to start bringing in, and got it. You start bringing that. You think then, okay, so we bring in the rear naked, but I wouldn't teach it in the normal back control where I'd say bury someone face down to the dirt, rear naked, like MMA style rear naked. Guillotine, more mounted than anything, but definitely like prayer chokes and like the gritty grab your head and roll you over style guillotines. I'm starting to fall out of love with the triangle. I find that when people are really well postured and they attack your hips and go heavy on your hips, triangles are really hard.
Yeah, very hard to get.
Arm bars?
Hard.
Yeah, watch the last quintet. How well did those arm bars go for people?
Yeah.
Not very well.
Omos are good to get into if you want to create a bit of a scramble, but finishing them hard. You can't get high enough. It's just the guys are postured too well.
Yeah. Yeah, leg locks. Obviously, leg locks work, but I think double troubling people are super important. Like, you have to thoroughly cripple their both legs so they can't stand up and get away. So I think that's important. Kimura, top Kimura. Kimura for control to then put someone down in side control, Frank Mir style. I think that's an important one.
Arm triangle, man, the king.
Arm triangle's the king, yeah. Arm triangle's the rear naked.
Arm triangle is the king.
Yeah. I think you can put all those together, and that's essentially all you need for a submission base. Like
bit of scaffold.
Yeah. Bit of some people have suffered that recently. That was a terrible plan, bringing that thing in. Darces, they're hard. I definitely
good control positions, good control holds to advance and hold.
The half naked, half naked,
half Nelson.
Half Nelson version, yeah, that's absolutely important for throwing someone around.
Yeah.
But finishing a Darce,
hard
if someone's getting up. Yeah, someone's getting upright repeatedly. It's hard to get that kind of closure on them. For fundamental submissions that I think are just like super high percentage, 5.
Yeah.
That's kind of maybe down the road. Maybe some guard stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe a triangle, if we're lucky. But it's such a Hail Mary. I don't want Hail Mary submissions of, like, you're going to get fucked. If you fuck this up, you're going to get fucked. I don't like that. Not anymore. Like, if you fuck up a triangle and someone turns you, that's it. It's a Hail Mary, and now you're just going to get boned from side control. Or stacked on your own head and shit. Like, it's definitely a Hail Mary kind of situation. I don't want to make people do Hail Marys from so early. I want them to be dominant. I want people to go for really hard, bury people face down in the dirt, rear nakeds and arm triangles and
violence.
Horrible mounted guillotines and stuff like that, and side guillotines.
But that's what grappling is, man. Like, that's what it actually is. 101.
Yeah.
Take them down. Roger Gracie style.
I like the idea of legs in that if you feel yourself get vulnerable, you can pull your bottom leg out and get back up again.
Yeah.
Or you double trouble them.
Yeah.
But after that, it's there's not a lot left. I think that'll be the next phase. I'll be interested. Like, I'd like to do more recordings. Like how I've been recording the classes, I'd like to record how we then do this. So I think. We have said that tomorrow we'll do some more recording. I will record the class because this is, something I want to bring in and see how it kind of works out for people. Of like, right, here's 5 submissions. This is the submissions we're going to be using, and then let's record the roles of people just burying each other with those submissions.
On Monday we taught. I got him to teach the mounted triangle because he loves teaching it. Well, he loves doing it, so I said, "You teach that," and then I taught the arm triangle.
That's very top of the leaf stuff. And I'd like to then see how we semi-ecological, semi-drill the instruction on that. I'm pondering it, and I'm excited to record that tomorrow. All my stuff's charged. It's ready to rock and roll.
Good.
Yeah, we'll record that tomorrow because I'm really interested in seeing how that comes out. What happened when Fighting Fit brought submissions back? Aggressive. It was aggressive.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, exactly. Wrist locks. Just because they're funny. I think that's the only thing we would have left. Although now winter's approaching, winter is coming. Grab a towel. It's everywhere. We should look at gi chokes then. Mounted cross collar. That's it. Because it's one that you could go for, and if they bridge or something like that, you can just put your hands back out and go for it again, and just keep rinsing their neck. I think that's pretty much the only one I'd really push for. Like, just make sure your mounted cross collar is vicious. Other than that, I don't know what else. That wouldn't be a Hail Mary kind of like panic submission. That would because I want people to be dominant. I want to be on top control. I want to always fight for top control. I don't want to think that.
I mean, that you could teach them like a bow and arrow version where you don't have to take the back, where you stay in side control with your knees behind the back, because you don't really lose position even if they do get out.
The back special.
Yeah.
Like driving your knee through their spine and stuff, but even then, that's stopping someone from turning. It's hard, and you have to create so much space. This is going to be really interesting. Like, I think we should definitely introduce a submission, introduce the details of it, gi and no gi, and then just let them fuck it up. Like, I think we should do. Like, actually, no, that's what we should do tomorrow. Is like we'll go right. Okay, here's a rear naked. Here is a arm triangle, etc. Try and find a position that you'd normally find those things from, like a top control position, and go right. Okay, go. Can you find it? And see how people just fucking stress and get out of it.
Yeah.
Because they really make us appreciate the control still. Because again, I want to make sure that we have that dominance and that kind of snap into the submissions. Like, you're staying the hell down. And give people appreciation that, oh shit, if I'm going to go for this submission, I need full control over it.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're going to do tomorrow. So it's just throw a submission out into the wild and go, okay, guys,
go play,
go. Yeah, and that can basically be our how we inform our choices of like, did people get out of this? Sven did a really good class, something similar in Switzerland, where he was like, right, one person hold the other person down, side control, right, I'm going to time it, how long until everyone gets out? And I think everyone got out within 20 seconds. And it was like, they showed a knee ride and went, same thing, like, okay, everyone get out of the knee ride. And it lasted like twice as long. And it was that kind of similar thing, like, why do you do a position that lasts half as long as this position then?
Yeah.
I'd like that idea of like, okay, why would we go for these submissions if everyone's just getting the fuck out of them? Put them in the bin.
Agreed. You're losing a lot of position. Like, again, require a lot of momentum and stress. And when you can end up on your back. And then again, like, we played this recently where if you're on the bottom, it's hard. It's hard to get back up with all the balance and posture stuff. So, is it with...
Especially if you leave yourself exposed to yourself becoming unaligned and getting stuck in cradles, or your neck twisted up, or your spine twisted up. Like, it just gets hard. You get cooked.
Yeah.
And... yeah, we can't... Oh, man. Like, that's why I don't like triangles as much anymore, because someone who's smart and has good pressure through their hips are just going to fold you in half.
Yeah.
And
pass
it's definitely
you
a Hail Mary. Hail Mary, yeah, exactly, or worse. It's definitely a Hail Mary kind of situation that I find now. Like, I ain't going down there. I know it doesn't feel like jiu-jitsu then. It goes back into that feeling of wrestling. But fuck it. Fuck you all. Don't care. If it wins, it wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the next video. So everyone listen to this who is curious about the direction of jiu-jitsu that we're going. Pay attention to tomorrow's class, because it's going to be a long video. Like, I might just leave the camera recording for an hour, and we're just going to have people break submissions. Oh, I'm excited. I want to go to sleep. It's like Christmas. Right, it's Christmas Eve, and tomorrow there's going to be presents everywhere.
Yeah.
Although, dude, I am going to have to sleep. Like,
Yeah. You go
it's
sleep,
been a good
man.
podcast.
I've
enjoyed it.
We've got some good topics through there.
Yeah, my head is hurting here. But I think we've settled the world again. Like, the universe can sleep peacefully now, because we've settled it.
we had to release this new episode so people can forget about that one.
Yeah, exactly. Something a lot more on brand. No,
Yeah.
it's not on brand with. But it's
I
just
mean, we
sort of
didn't make that
about
many
jiu-jitsu.
illegal jibes.
It's all fine. We know.
Yeah.
We know when it's too far. Sometimes. Although I would be interested then, because I know how you take these ideas and then go into your own club with it. I'd be interested because your students are like definitely a bubble of yours. I like how they come out. Like, you know, the guys who start to come to fight and feel like, oh right, you know, they all have Naki's wrestling stance. This is exciting. This is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see them how you then incorporate this into your club and how brutal they become.
Yeah, I'm trying, man. But my only biggest problem is they only train once a week, man, and it's hard trying to get a lot done. But sometimes I think for what they do, they're all right. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Trying.
get it.
I mean, the ones who want to train more, they come to us and then they go to other local gyms. But some of them, I'm like, come on, man, you got to be doing it at least 3 times a week somewhere.
I had this we were talking about the club price and everything. I had someone call me recently asking out how much we charge, and we're not an expensive gym
No.
at all. Like, I think we figured that training's £1 an hour.
Something like that.
If you come to train, it's £1, like the equivalent of paying £1 an hour.
The Sunday class is 3.5 hours and it's £3. You know what I mean?
I know.
It's all comp sparring, like it's the best class of the week.
Thanks, man.
In terms of like violence,
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic.
it's just pure violence of 3.5 hours.
I know it is. It's a hard session. I'm there like shielding the kids' eyes and the kids' class room. Like, don't look, children. He'll corrupt you. Yeah, and someone will say that's too expensive. I'm like, it's £1 an hour. I
Yeah.
think it works out like slightly less than £1 an hour most of the time. Like, good lord. But there's that much training available, so I guess people will get better. Yeah. So I'd be interested, and I'm really interested tomorrow. So yeah, please, everyone who's listening to this podcast is watching on YouTube. I'm recording this class tomorrow. When we throw submissions into the twitching pit of Fighting Fit, and then let's see what comes out the other end of it.
Yeah.
And we'll do a gi version as well. Maybe next week we'll bring some gis in. I'll tell everyone to bring gis. Cool, let's do it. I'm excited.
Let's do it, man. Yeah.
Let's break everything. Good night, Nak, and I'll see you tomorrow. All being well.
Yes.
All being well.
See you tomorrow.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.